Greetings and welcome to Pickled Watermelon Rinds, a guilty pleasure podcast featuring Auntie Joan and Auntie providing our zesty and marginally mature take on current events, pop culture, and trends. Now we invite you to sit back, relax, and enjoy. Hello, Auntie Joan.
Hi, Auntie.
How are you?
I'm doing okay. How about your own self?
Oh, just fine, thanks.
You're welcome.
Cheers, it's our 50th!
Hey, we're 50!
50th episode! Cheers, Auntie Joan!
Yes. What you
shy of a year.
drinking?
I am drinking a Hofbrau Hefeweizen beer.
A Hefeweizen?
Hefeweizen?
Oh.
Yes, and you?
Since we're supposed to be doing a Mediterranean diet, I went with the martini so I could get my olives in.
There you go. Perfect.
Nothing I like better than gin-soaked olives.
Nice.
They're the best. They're the best.
Fun.
Yes.
And it just happens to be Galentine's Day that we're recording this.
Happy Galentine's Day.
Happy Galentine's Day to you.
Mwah, mwah.
For folks who don't know what Galentine's Day is, it came out of Parks and Recreation. Amy Poehler's character, Leslie Knope, decided that Valentine's Day is for the couples, but the day before Valentine's Day, February 13th, is dedicated to your female friends, and it's called Galentine's Day.
Yeah.
So that's what we are celebrating today.
I also found out on The View today that this day is also the day that married men take their mistresses to their Valentine's dinner the day before Valentine's, and then they take their wives to the same restaurant the next day.
Oh, nice.
How about that?
Uh-huh.
I guess those waiters probably get tipped pretty well, huh?
Maybe.
Oh, they better be. That's horrible.
How do they know that? Like, where did that come from?
I don't know.
See what I mean?
I don't know their source, but, wouldn't put anything past them. So anyway, yeah.
And towards the end of our episode, we're going to be giving you more information about PWR's 50 contest. So stay tuned. We'll get back to that in a little bit. For right now, we're going to chit-chat like we always do. And I'm going to talk about this furniture that I got. I'm very excited. I got my new furniture. I have a new couch and a new love seat. And both are electronic recline. I totally copied Auntie Joan. And I love them. They're leather. They were on the inexpensive side from American Furniture Warehouse, and I couldn't be happier with them. And they are Killian approved. He sprawls out and just loves it. They're a little bit deeper than our old couch.
Oh,
so he can
nice.
sprawl out a little easier and get comfy wumpy. And we've been doing lots of snuggling because it's been cold here.
Oh, yeah,
Very
here
cold.
too. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Now, as far as my old stuff, that was a fiasco.
Tell us about it.
I used 1-800-GOT-JUNK when I was leaving my house in Netherlands and moving to my new house. And I remember them being on the pricey side, but I also had almost half garage bay full of stuff that needed to go. It was literally the last day. I had already, signed everything. I was going the next morning to sign the house over to the new people. So I had to be out that day. And the guys were wonderful. They told me that they donate things, that if they're in good enough condition, they'll donate things and blah, blah, blah. So I really thought it was a good experience. Like I said, although a little bit pricey. There was a woman in my area that was looking for furniture. She was buying a new house, but it didn't work out. Getting her new house is going to be a little bit more delayed, and she didn't know when she'd be able to come and get it. And I just don't have room to store anything extra here in my small little house. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to go to 1-800-GOT-JUNK. They'll donate it for me, because I looked up some donations. I looked at Goodwill and I looked at Salvation Army, and it was all like, it had to be gently used and in and I'm like, and these were in good condition, but they had issues. they weren't the highest quality furniture that I had, and the recliners arms had indentations because they didn't have proper padding in them, and all that wonderful stuff. So I'm like, I don't want to drive this stuff all the way down to Boulder and then them say, sorry, we can't
Yeah,
take this.
yeah.
And I had to take everything apart to fit it in my car. So it would been like, I don't know if they would make me assemble it and then make a decision. Then I'd have to unassemble it all.
Oh my
I
goodness.
don't
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
and I'm just like, sounds like a hassle to me. Screw that. And of course, they all have pickup opportunities, those two facilities, but not up where I live. So it was back to somebody's going to have to come get this stuff anyway. So I was like, I'm just going to use 1-800-GOT-JUNK. So I get everything scheduled. I saw online that their pricing said $59 for one piece. Anything more than one, and one piece could be a couch. Anything more than one piece, they price it by how much room it takes up on their truck. And I remember that from when they came to my house in Netherlands. I'm like, oh, okay, well, I only have 3 pieces. So what can, I don't know, 150, $200. Okay. It'll go. Okay, fine. Wow. Well, let me tell you what happened day of. So I had a window of 12:30 to 2:30, 2-hour window for them to come and pick this stuff up. They were supposed to call me 15 to 30 minutes before the start of my window. So by 12:15, I should have gotten a phone call with a more accurate time as to when they were going to be arriving at my house. No phone call was had. 2:00 is when they finally called me. A half an hour before my window was closing, they called. Very nice driver called. And he said, just want to let you know that, or, confirming that we're coming up. I'm like, yep. And he's like, we're about an hour and a half out. And I'm like, so you're not going to get here until 3:30? Because that'll be an hour after my window. Well, ma'am, we're in Denver and you're way up there in the mountains. And, it just takes us time to get up there. And I'm like, but that's why I had a 2-hour window, I thought. Like, if you left at the beginning of my window, you would have gotten here within the 2-hour window. And I said, and I thought you guys were going to call me by like 12:15. And he's like, well, I don't know why we didn't get the order until now. He's like, I can't comment on that. And then he said, okay, I just want you to be aware that because you have more than one piece, it'll be based on how much room it takes up on the truck. And you're looking at anywhere from $150 to $700 and some odd dollars, whatever. And I said, okay, because again, in my head, I'm thinking, yeah, it's about $150, $200 based on 3 pieces, based on that $59 for one piece thing. I figured it'd be pretty close to that. So I'm like, yep. He's like, okay, we're on our way. I'm like, okay, bye. Hang up. 5 minutes later, he calls me back. I wanted to let you know that we found another crew that can get to your house sooner than the hour and a half. Never told me exactly what it was. But then he says, but I wanted to make sure to call you back because I misquoted you earlier. Because of where you live, the cost will be anywhere for, ready for it? $450 to over $1,000.
Wow. Wow.
And I said, you're kidding me. And he said, no, it's because of the distance. I'm like, there's a $300 differential to come up to the mountains. There's usually some additional cost, $50, whatever. $300? No. I said, absolutely not. I'm like, now you guys waited until 2:00 in the afternoon. Now I have to scramble because I have new furniture coming tomorrow. Had you called me at 12:15 like you were supposed to and gave me this information, I would have said no then and still had half a day to deal with this. So what I ended up having to do is take all the furniture apart and
Oh my gosh.
shove it into my SUV and bring it over to the Netherlands transfer station to get rid of it. And it sucks because it wasn't trash, but I had nothing else I could do. I had nowhere to put it. And the weather wasn't good. It wasn't like I could put it outside.
Yeah.
There was nothing I could do. And I'm just like, I just wasted decent furniture in the transfer station because it felt like a total scam what 1-800-GOT-JUNK was doing. So I'm telling everybody who will listen to me, don't use 1-800-GOT-JUNK. They're assholes. And they rip you off something fierce. I don't like them. I don't like them. They're very, I mean, like I said, the person I spoke with, very, very nice gentleman. Never got upset because I was upset. I'll tell you that. But he kept a very even keel and was very, ma'am, yes, I understand. I absolutely understand where you're coming from and blah, 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 blah. So he was very cordial and wonderful. But the pricing is ridiculous, just ridiculous. So I'll never use them again. There you have it.
Well, I mean, living where you live, it is going to cost more to have anything. Well, they didn't charge you anything extra to deliver the new ones, did they?
It was $100 for it to get delivered, but that's what I've always paid for American Furniture
Oh,
Warehouse.
oh.
I know I got furniture from them when I lived down below my first house, but I don't, that was so long ago. I have no idea if
Yeah,
there was,
yeah.
I know it was delivered, but I don't know what the delivery charge was. And again, like I said, I do expect there to be a cost differential, not $300.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, it went from 150 to 450 as the minimum. That's a $300 difference. If he said it was, minimum of $200, that would have made sense to me.
Wow.
But
That's a lot of money
that's a
to
lot
get
of
rid
money.
of something.
Exactly. The furniture itself didn't cost all that. It did, but not much more. I can tell you that. So yes,
Wow.
so very disappointed with 1-800-GOT-JUNK, and yes, I will tell everybody not to ever use them. Terrible organization, and especially since what kills you is they don't tell you any of that at the time you're booking the appointment.
Well, that should have been done. Yeah.
And clearly they knew the range. There's programs available, like as soon as you type in X zip code, that means it increases the price to this. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
they just either aren't investing in that and just hope that by the time they get up there and give you the assessment and give you the pricing, the fact that the guy gave me the pricing on the phone made it sound like they didn't want to come up, period. You know what I mean? Whereas I think if they had come up, they're probably banking on the fact that, well, we're here. This is your opportunity. Might as well just do it and be done with it.
Yeah.
You know, I don't think I would have, though. If they came up here and gave me that quote, I'd been like, see ya. Bye. Get out. Now you can drive back home. Because I'm not paying that. So anyway, yeah.
Wow.
Quite the little scam operation they got going on there.
Well, I've used them in the past, and I've always thought they were a little expensive, but then I never compared them with anybody else. So, I mean, your average Joe Blow that's going to bring up his trailer and, throw the stuff on it and take it to the dump isn't going to be as much as them. However, I would say the guys that I've always dealt with have been very nice, very polite, but they are kind of high.
Yeah. And it was funny because I forgot when he first called, he said, have you ever used our service before? And I said, yes. And he said, oh, you have? Like, I can't believe we're using it again. And I was like, yeah, back in 2020 I did. And he said, oh, I think the ownership has changed since then. So let me just run through it with you. And that's what I said when he gave me that second quote. I said, well, certainly the ownership has changed because, yes, I remember it being a little bit pricey, but it was not. Or maybe I just never knew what it would have been if the pickup was down on the flatlands. I don't know. Maybe he messed up by ever telling me that it was 150. The low end could be as low as 150. I don't know what that was, but it made me pissed because then and the transfer station closed at 4:00 in
Oh my
Netherlands.
gosh.
So I had 2 hours to get everything all organized and out the door. I mean, I made it in time, but it was just the point that for the second I hung up, it was nonstop to get out of the house and figure out how to get that furniture all in my car. And it was a little bit of a puzzle to put together to get it all in there. And,
Holy smokes.
Which I did. It happened, but.
Wow.
And it was only $40. $40 to trash it at the transfer station versus a minimum of $450 and my gas.
Wow.
So there you have it.
Boy, you've got a lot of energy to bounce back from that.
Oh,
to go from
pretty
angry. Oh yeah.
angry.
Oh, I bet. I would have probably been
yeah.
crying too.
Yeah.
Feeling sorry for myself.
I didn't do the cry thing, but it was good to do something very physical after that phone call because I was really pissed off. And then you went glass blowing.
Oh, yes. My friend Sandy B.
Super fan Sandy B. Sandy B. Sandy B.
Uh-huh. For Christmas, she gave me it was a two-person class, glass blowing class with Angelo Ambrosia in Longmont.
Mm-hmm.
And we actually got to blow little vases. And he took us from taking the little colored glass shards and embedding them into molten glass and then how you blow them and all that stuff. So keep tuned in because we'll have pictures maybe of the process of me doing it and the finished products, which Sandy B picked up today, and she's very excited about it.
Very cool.
Mm-hmm.
Very
Mm-hmm.
cool.
Yeah, Angelo was a really nice guy. He explained the whole molecular thing with glass and how it's got to be at a at a special temperature, and it ain't easy, I'll tell you. You mentioned when I told you about it, oh, you found a new thing to learn. No,
No.
it's not as forgiving as like clay is, or even fabric that you can rip out the seams if you mess it up. But I mean, this is maybe once you know what you're doing, you can recover things, but
Mm-hmm.
he had quite a bit of wasted glass laying around.
Mm.
So, yeah, I don't think it's a real easy skill,
Mm.
art to recover.
And how big
Yeah.
was his studio? Was it like a dedicated studio?
Oh yeah, yeah, it's his, and it's like in an industrial area in
Mm-hmm.
Longmont. He donated it to a silent auction for one of the charities in Longmont. I don't know if it was the Humane Society or the Our Center, doing his bit to give back to the community.
He donated what?
So it was a silent auction, the two-person class thing. People bid on, yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
I see. I see. Is that how Sandy B got the
Mm-hmm.
gotcha?
It was fun.
How
It was
long were you there
cold
for?
getting there, probably close to 2 hours.
Okay.
But I'll tell you, you get close to those furnaces and it felt good because it was so cold. It's Tuesday. Yeah, it was so cold that just to get close to it felt so good. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah. Thank you, Sandy B.
Woohoo! Good job, Sandy B.
We'll put pictures out there so you can see our wonderful pieces of art. Welcome back.
Welcome back. Now we're on to the part of our program where we discuss what we are watching. And Auntie Jones got a good one that she got me hooked on.
Yeah. It's called CB Strike, and it's a British mystery television program, and it's based on a series of books called Cormoran Strike. And did you know those books were written by J.K. Rowling
I did not.
under the pseudonym of Robert Galbraith?
Huh.
Oh, wait a minute. Now I'm getting this from Wikipedia.
Mm.
So I don't know. You may know.
All right.
But if you look at the credits at the end, you'll see that she's J.K. Rowling is like the producer, and I believe it. But anyway, the program was first broadcast in Britain in 2017, and what it does is it follows Cormoran Strike, who is a war veteran who opened a private detective agency. He used to work in the special investigation branch of whatever the British Army is. And he was injured in the war, so he had to get discharged, and he started up this agency. So it starts out with Robin, this sweet young thing who comes in. She's a temp, and she's come in for the week to cover the office, to take phone calls, paperwork, whatever. And the place is a mess. And oh, he had just broken up with his girlfriend slash fiance too. So there was a big stuff going on with them throwing things around and stuff. So anyway, Robin comes in, she gets the place all squared away. He gets a customer come in and she's able to maneuver things. As the show progresses, she gets more and more into the private investigative part. Cormoran, man, oh man, there were some times he looked like he was an unhoused person. He liked to drink a lot. He smoked. He slept in his little office there in the place where his agency was. He was just kind of a mess. And I think Robin kind of helped him slowly kind of move to be a little more civilized. A lot of the show goes around his past relationship with that woman, Charlotte, who was his fiance. I mean, that plays into the series quite a few times, almost every season. And then Robin she was engaged and she had that whole relationship going on, but yet there's this tension between Robin and Corman and oh yeah, and I did tell you that Corman lost his leg, and I think they do a pretty good job of handling that because they don't give him super strength. So you see him sometimes the stump that's left on his leg
Hmm.
really hurts and he can't run around like your basic detectives shows. He's got a in this last season, which is up to season 6, by the way. You see him trying to go up some stairs, and he kind of goes up the stairs like I do, one stair at a time. He's got to put both his legs up on those stairs to get to the next one. So I tried listening to the audio version of this most recent series,
Hmm.
Ink Black Heart.
Hmm.
I couldn't stick with it. I've gone through and I've rewatched some of the seasons again.
Hmm.
I think part of my problem is they just have too many people.
It's very hard to follow season
Yeah. Oh,
6.
good. It's not just me.
No, half the time they'll be talking like so and so. I'm like, I don't know who you mean at this point.
Yeah.
I don't.
Yeah.
There were too many suspects that they were
Yes.
investigating,
Yep.
and they all had different names. Well, clearly different names of different people, but there's also part of an anime world going on,
Oh, yeah.
and
Yeah.
I'm
Oh,
I'm lost a lot.
so their usernames are out there and then, yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Paper white, whatever. And yeah.
Yeah, and I'm just like, I don't even know who you guys are talking about at this point.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna
Yeah.
stick with it through the end of season 6 for sure, because all the other seasons I did thoroughly enjoy. This one's way more difficult,
Mm-hmm.
for
Mm-hmm.
sure. For sure, I
I
agree.
even season 5, I started noticing that they had an awful lot of suspects, as you say,
Mm-hmm.
in that it's just kind of hard to keep the names straight with the people and yeah. But
Yeah.
I love him
Mm-hmm.
in it.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't help but I'm watching it last night and I'm thinking, Cormoran he's really an honorable man. He has high standards for himself as far as how he treats people. He's very careful about taking people's feelings and things like that into account. It's not real obvious, but you can see sometimes it's like Robin was starting to say something and he had to hold her back and say, no, don't say that. I think he has a pretty high moral standard too. Even though he is like an alcoholic almost, he still, I think, has a pretty high moral standard. And Robin is so cute. And she picked up so quickly on, the investigative world. And I think she does do a lot to kind of calm him down and rein him in a little bit. And you can see they care so much for each other, but yet they kind of know they're both so messed up that if it goes any further than the business and friendship, it'll ruin the whole thing.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I really like the receptionist. I think she's very funny.
the new one,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
She's really funny. I don't really like the other two investigators all that much. I don't.
yeah, they're just,
They're just
yeah,
kind of there on the
yeah,
peripheral. They don't really
yeah.
have. I could take or leave them, to be honest with you. But I do really like CB. It's misleading because he wears this trench coat all the time, so you think
Oh,
he's this
yes.
big guy, and then he takes a trench coat off. You're like, no, you're pretty thin there. Like I don't. Like, it just bulks him up tremendously.
Eh,
Also, does he have like a little cleft palate?
yes, yes.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And there was one episode where it flashed back to him as a kid.
Mm-hmm.
The little boy that they had play him, he was a perfect match. I mean, and he had the little cleft palate too, but
Mm-hmm.
everything about him otherwise, he was a perfect match. Perfect.
Nice.
Yeah, you're right. When they show him walking down the street, like away from you,
Mm-hmm.
and you see the coats kind of flared out
Yeah.
a little bit, and he's got the limp, and he
Yeah.
just, yeah, he's
He looks like a ginormous guy, and he almost always has the trench coat. It's rare that he takes it off, but when he does, you're like, oh, you're not that big. Like, okay, weird. So I don't know. I mean, I get, they're in London, so I'm assuming that's London. I know it's overcast and rainy there a lot, but it just seems like the overcoat's a bit. I mean, it's very, who took the bite out of crime?
Oh.
McGruff takes a bite out of
so.
crime. Very trench coaty,
I've seen him in quite a few other things. I like him. And I looked her up, Robin's actress up, and I guess she's done quite a few period pieces, like not Victorian, but the Elizabethan or whatever, like the Bronte sisters and those. And she's got a face for that era. It's a good show. Worth a watch.
It is a good show. It's on Max. That's how I watch it. And you got good seasons to catch up on, because I think there's only, 8 episodes a season or something like that?
Well, in the past, they've been like 2, 3, 4. 2 episodes, 3 episodes, sometimes 4 at the most.
Oh, really? That's it?
Yeah.
Okay. So this season should almost be done then.
Yep. And I hope they don't get together.
Oh, we'll see. Good pick, Auntie Joan. Thanks pointing this one out to me, because I never would have saw it otherwise. So it's good. I've been watching it for years with Auntie Joan, but yes, the latest season is out there for you.
Yep.
Well, still being released on a weekly basis. So like I said, I don't know if there's only 1 or 2 more episodes, but by the time this airs, it's probably going to be complete. You got 6 seasons.
Yeah, I'm sure it will be. Yeah. Welcome back.
Now we're on to the part of our program where we discuss commercials we have to talk about.
You got one, Auntie?
OMG, the queen of queens I've got for all you today.
Stevie Nicks?
No, this is Cher's Uber Eats commercial. Oh my God, she's so goddamn funny.
She is.
Oh, I like her when she's being funny more than I like her any other way.
Yeah.
And she's being very funny in this, and it was awesome. So it first opens up watching Cher in one of her quintessential Cher outfits, walking into a room, and she's humming, if I could turn back time. And then she's like, a time machine. So she brings up her Uber Eats app and she orders a time machine. And the control for the time machine gets delivered to her front door in a standard Uber Eats brown bag. And she takes it out and she puts in, I want to go back to the 80s. And which I find funny, because she was very big in the 70s. I was surprised she picked the 80s, to be honest with you. I mean, I know Turn Back Time came out around then. Of all eras for her to have chosen, I was surprised she picked the 80s. That's what I would pick, but I was surprised she picked the 80s.
Yeah, it is interesting that you bring that up. Yeah.
Because she was very big in the 70s with Sonny and Cher and their variety show and all that. And
maybe that's what she was trying to avoid.
I don't know.
Her connection with Sonny.
I don't know.
Anyway.
But anyway, so she goes back to the 80s, and next scene you see her straddling a cannon, and she's looking around and she's like, this isn't the 80s. And it's people in grubby attire and all that around her, like, it's the 1680s. And then this one woman looks at her and is like, you're young and old all at the same time. And a woman in the background who is in the stockade says, witch. So then they tie up Cher because they're going to burn her at the stake because she's a witch. And she looks over. She's like, are those my boots? And there's a guy in her high heel black studded boots. And they're going to burn the witch. And she just said, this is ridiculous. So very fun, silly commercial. I think it's supposed to tell you that Uber Eats delivers more than just eats. They actually deliver goods as well. Like, you can order other things and have it delivered by Uber Eats. That's what I assume they're trying to get out of this commercial, because there's nothing. It has nothing to do with food.
Yeah.
The commercial has nothing to do with food.
Unless they were going to barbecue Cher.
Maybe. It's very silly, very fun. I saw it on the Instagram. We'll have the link. It's very, very silly. I just love it. I thought it was cute. Cute idea, and she did a
Yeah,
very good
Cher's
job.
Cher's good at laughing at herself too.
Yeah.
She doesn't take herself too
Yeah.
seriously, and yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. When they first called her, she's like, "No, I'm an icon." I forgot about that. So cute.
I love seeing those old videos of, well, they have them on Instagram too and stuff, where she'd come out at the beginning of her show when she had the
Mhm.
Cher show
Mhm.
and all those Bob Mackie outfits, and
Mhm.
she'd take the capes off or whatever. And I always thought she was so skinny then, but now she doesn't look so bad.
She doesn't look so bad today, or she doesn't look so bad but when you rewatch the videos.
When I rewatch the video, I mean,
Oh,
she doesn't look as emaciated as I thought, but then maybe that's just people becoming more accustomed to seeing such thin stars.
don't know. Don't
Yeah.
know. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's very cute. I highly recommend watching it. It's a good time.
Like Billy Idol, she's had the work done, but she looks good.
Oh, sorry. I thought you were
Yeah.
saying she and all that about Billy Idol. I'm like, Billy Idol's a guy, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But comparing,
Sorry.
yeah, we
Yes.
discussed him having the work done, and yeah.
Yes. Yes. And Cher is 78.
Is she really?
78. I looked it up before we got on. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yep. She looks good.
Yeah.
Since we just finished the Super Bowl, and since Auntie Joe and I give two flips about a stupid football game, we tuned in to watch commercials.
Mm-hmm.
So, as a special little extra commercials we have to talk about, we're going to talk about our top pick of the best Super Bowl commercials that we saw. And Auntie Joan, which one did you really like?
Oh, mine would be the women flag football
Mm-hmm.
being a varsity sport. And I'll tell you, if those women that they show in that commercial play like they show they play,
Mm-hmm.
that's much more entertaining than watching football. I mean, what is it? A bunch of guys with pads on and they just kind of go forward and
Yeah.
hit each other. Oh, these women in this commercial are awesome.
Yeah, they are.
What about you? What was your fave?
My favorite was Stella Artois, which was with David Beckham and Matt Damon. Opens where David Beckham goes into a bar and his parents are sitting there like, "We have something we have to tell you." And he's like, "What?" And they're like, "You have a twin brother." Like, "What do you mean I have a twin brother? What's his name?" "His name is David too." So he goes and seeks out his brother, and he goes to a door, and the door opens, and it's Matt Damon. But Matt Damon is now David Beckham. And they go and Matt Damon's character is having a barbecue in his backyard, and they go back there, and they both, have a Stella Artois beer. So, some of Matt Damon's friends are like, "You got to do it. You got to do it." He's like, "Oh, excuse me. They always want me to do this." And he drop kicks I don't think it was a soccer ball, but it was a ball of, I don't know, maybe it was a football. I don't know. And he kicks it really, really far like David Beckham could do. And the best part was at the end and said something like, I don't remember the words exactly, but David Beckham said something about, "You look familiar." And he's like Matt Damon familiar? And he's like, "No, maybe a little bit more like Ben Affleck," or something like that.
Uh,
And he's like, "Oh, that's too bad." And Matt Damon said, "Oh, that's too bad."
yeah, yeah. I think Matt Damon's cuter.
It's very cute. It's a very cute commercial. We enjoyed that one.
I'm gonna have to watch that one.
Yes. It
Yeah.
was a good one. They're all very silly. And there was also a Nate Bargatze commercial that I really liked. That was silly. Just like him. Just silly fun. But I don't even remember what the product was, to be honest with you. I just remember it was a Nate Bargatze commercial.
Yeah, this is going to blow your mind.
Mm-hmm.
I can remember life before there was even a Super Bowl. I remember when they started the Super Bowl, and I was so pissed because I thought, oh, good Lord, it's another Sunday football game we're going to have to put up with every year. And because my dad would watch, the football games
Mm-hmm.
every Sunday. So I thought, oh, it's just one more excuse to watch football. Yeah, it pissed me off. And the half times that they had then, I think they just had like marching bands, from
Mm-hmm.
special schools or,
Mm-hmm.
selected schools. Yeah. And
Mm-hmm.
nothing like today, that's for sure.
No. So you're saying that they had, I'm genuinely asking. So when football was being aired originally, they still played games. They just didn't have like the grand finale Super Bowl thing.
Right.
Gotcha.
I think they would have like the East or the NFL and the whatever the other
AFC,
whatever it was. Yeah. Yep.
Gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
Those were our picks for the Super Bowl commercials. Drop us a line on YouTube, Instagram, or Facebook, and let us know what you like the best out of the Super Bowl commercials.
we want to know what you think.
That's right. Speaking of getting our listener involved, we've been teasing that there is a contest approaching, and that is PWR's 50th episode contest. And we want you to do your best Sally O'Malley impression and create a video, a minute or less, and send it to us. And we have an email address that we have in our write-up that is associated with this episode on where you get your podcasts. We also will have posts on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube with all of the details and rules of the contest itself. But a quick rundown. Again, the videos must be under a minute. They must be in MP4 format. They can be of people, animals, animation, whatever your little creative heart's desire, are all acceptable for the video. They need to resemble in some way Molly Shannon's portrayal of Sally O'Malley and her "I'm 50" routine. You can check out YouTube for Sally O'Malley inspiration. It was an SNL skit. So you can look that up. There is only one video submission per listener. You'll be emailing that to us at an email address. I'll rattle it off now, but better to look at it in the write-ups. It's PWR contest submission at gmail.com. And the deadline for submissions is Wednesday, March 12th, 2025 by 11 p.m. Mountain Daylight Time. We will send you an email confirmation within 24 hours confirming that we received your video and it's under review. We are the sole judges of this, folks. There is no no disputes will be allowed. Our decision will be final.
We'll be the judge of that.
That's right. And we will be announcing the winner on our 52nd episode, our 1-year anniversary episode, which we'll be releasing on Monday, March 17th, 2025.
St. Patty's Day?
That is when we are going to be releasing the episode, yes.
Oh.
So, yes.
I'll drink to that.
We'll be contacting the winner via email so we can get their shipping details because there is a prize to be had here, folks. It is the coveted limited edition pickled watermelon rinds tumbler. We'll have pictures of that posted as well, all in the posts on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. So take a look at that so you know what you're competing for. And we look forward to seeing your videos and seeing how creative our folks are going to be. So keep it clean, folks. We want to make sure that this is supposed to be a fun, silly contest. Therefore, no sexual, hostile, hate, abusive, racist, political, or inappropriate videos will be considered. Those will all be disqualified and deleted. So please keep it clean, keep it fun, keep it silly. And we're really looking forward to seeing your creativity.
You betcha.
All right, then. Auntie Joan, anything else for our listener today?
Nope. I think I'm done.
All right, then. Well, that wraps it for yet another wonderful 50th episode.
Yippee!
Pickled watermelon rinds. This is Auntie signing off.
And Auntie Joan saying bye-bye now.
We thank you for listening. And remember, when life eats away at your core, make pickled watermelon rinds.